Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. This is part 4. Dennis right behind me here. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel because we're doing the refresh kind of build, fix, repair video. This sweet car was built for a buddy of mine, but it was done horribly. There's a lot of problems with it. And so basically what I'm trying to do is redo a bunch of stuff on the car, bring it back to life the best I can to a good running condition, and then we'll go from there. So in the previous episodes we removed a bunch of stuff on the front, a bunch of stuff on the back here, and then I decided not to remove the doors, but actually now I decided to go ahead and remove the doors because they're going to be kind of in my way, because I want to remove a bunch of stuff from the inside, the panels, the seats and all that stuff, and just kind of see how the floor is on the inside, and I don't want them to be kind of in my way swinging around. And also I do want to clean up this spot right here, so the door is going to be kind of in the way, so I might as well remove them. I still have to realign them, so that's not a big deal. On the back here I'm going to clean up the tail panel. I'm going to take care of these chicken poops. I'm going to weld that up the best I can, and then I'm going to seal it up. And on the bottom here, seems like they just siliconed a rust spot right here and right there. So I think when I'm going to remove the gas tank, I'm going to see if I can maybe patch that up, cut out the bad section. I'll deal with that when I remove the fuel tank, and we'll try to repair that as well. On the front here, they got this panel welded in pretty good for this side, but then on the driver's side, it only has a couple tack welds, so that's kind of horrible. So I'm gonna re-weld this side and that side, so that's gonna be nice and securer than it is, so it's gonna be a lot better. I'm going to be cleaning the engine bay and repainting the walls and all that stuff, so it doesn't matter if there's going to be weld spots. I'm going to clean that up and it's going to be nice and clean. Now to the biggest problem that I found, and that's going to be on the front here underneath the engine. Oil pan is sitting on the rack and pinion, so that means when the engine's vibrating and it's on, it's pretty much banging on the rack and pinion, and that's obviously not good. And also because it's sitting on the rack and pinion, it's sitting a little bit higher, so that was hitting the hood as well. When the hood was closed and the filter was on here, it was actually banging on top of the hood, and the back part was hitting behind the hood as well. So I don't know, like I said before, I don't know what kind of Mickey Mouse was working on this engine, but they sure don't have any brains when they were doing all this stuff, because it's ridiculously stupid. And obviously when they put the engine in, I'm sure they saw it, they just didn't care to address it or fix it. And the thing is, the oil pan does have the cutout, so it should be fitting over. So I'm just not sure why the engine is sitting that way. It should be more forward, and then it would clear the rack and pinion and the subframe part. But obviously I can't just move it forward because it's connected to the transmission, and then it's connected to the drive shaft, connected to the exhaust, so everything's kind of connected, so I can't just go ahead and adjust it forward. Plus the engine mounts won't let me go to the front because of the way they are sitting. So honestly, it's a weird puzzle for me. I'll still try to see what I can figure out. At the moment, the only thing I could think of is actually I'm gonna remove the oil pan and go ahead and cut off this front bulge and weld it up flat on the bottom, and that's gonna clear the rack and pinion, and the engine's gonna sit slower, and it's gonna have some gap in between the rack and pinion and the engine, and it's not gonna be banging against the frame or the rack and pinion, and it's also gonna go down, and it's not gonna be banging against the hood. So the whole thing is just, it's a huge puzzle piece, can of worms. It's pretty weird. So yeah, let's go ahead and remove the doors and start removing all that stuff on the inside, and checking things on the inside like sheet metal and stuff, see how that looks. And if that's all good, I think that'll be it as far as the problems go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start tackling the problems from the back to the front or whatever. Just I gotta start somewhere, and then we're gonna start making her better. Alrighty, let's go. Alright guys, and here's what we got so far. Pretty much stripped as much as I could. I still have to do a couple panels on the inside, but that's not a big deal. Basically got the seats out, and to remove the seats I had to actually disconnect the exhaust because I couldn't get to the bolts on top of here. The mufflers were in the way, closer to the center. So that's kind of weird. If you ever want to change the seats, you got to remove the exhaust. And on the inside is actually not too bad. I was expecting a crazy mess underneath the carpet, but it's actually not too bad. It's obviously dusty and dirty, but that's not a big deal. But underneath it looks a little worse, so I'll probably try to address the bottom a little bit better later, because this floor was replaced in sections. I think you got maybe, I don't know if it's one, so yeah, I think it's one section here, and then that section there was replaced, but they didn't do that great of a job on the edges, because on the bottom it looks pretty bad, but we'll get to that later. So that's basically the main thing that I wanted to see, to make sure there's no crazy weird stuff underneath the carpet or mold or rust or whatever. All this stuff can be cleaned up. In the next episode I'll remove the back seats, the panels, all that stuff, and I'm gonna remove the dash, steering wheel, instrument panels. And the reason I decided to remove the doors is because I wanted to actually paint this area right here when I'm painting the panels right here, and then obviously I'm going to be painting on the inside of the engine. And I actually decided to probably pull the engine out with the transmission. Reason being is because of the oil pan situation, and I'm not sure what to do with it, and I just want to see if I can pull the engine out, actually clean it up, make it as clean as possible before I put it back in. And then while the engine is out, I want to actually paint the walls here and the back firewall, this side right here, clean all of that up, and then put everything back in. And I actually went ahead and ordered new engine mounts for over here. They're going to be adjustable, so it might give me a little bit more room to go forward, but it might give me a little more room, but I doubt it's going to give me enough to drop down and clear the rack and pinion on the front here. But with the new engine mounts, it's still going to help me set up the engine and make it a little better, drop it down a little bit and all that stuff. So it's going to give me more adjustability to pretty much fine-tune everything and make sure everything fits how it should. So yeah guys, that's what we got so far. We're pretty much almost restoring this whole car, minus the bodywork and paint job. So I mean, honestly, if it was my car, I would get it stripped out completely, send blast the whole car, redo everything, but that's a lot of money. So this is basically, a lot of it is mechanical, what we're doing, mechanical stuff, and to make it as safe as possible, reliable, blah blah blah, and fixing a bunch of can of worms, Mickey Mouse work. But it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a lot better after I'm done with it. So guys, once again, if you're new, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.